I'm going to bring Jay on here. I'm going to take a short break to refill my beverage, but I'm not going to take a full-on lunch break. We'll just... actually, let me bring Jay on, and maybe if he wants to speak to some deck choices before, while I go take a quick break, that's something that can happen while I'm away. So let me get Jay and switch the title. We have constructed brewing with Jay Schneider. We're going to update that info. I guess you kids do this on Discord. I'm still a Skyper. I barely understand Discord, except that I know that I have to have it because I'm a streamer. The bots feel a little different. It's not extreme, but I've noticed some cards that that used to be going really late that are not don't seem to be going really late. So all right.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Jay. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. So are you in the Midwest now?
Not yet. I'm heading out on late Monday, early Tuesday.
Okay, so Gen Con is not this weekend, it's the following weekend, or is it all week? Is it a week-long thing?
It goes during the week, and for a lot of people, it's an all-week thing. You know, Gen Con being probably the biggest board game show, you get a lot of people who head out starting this weekend and take the whole week and weekend for it. So anyway, the big events start on Thursday and run through the weekend.
Very cool. What are you looking forward to most? Do you have any big plans?
Well, I'm actually I'm going to be introducing something that'll be announced probably by the end of this broadcast. So I'm not really giving anything away.
Cool.
The Shadowrun dice roller we're introducing.
Nice.
So if you're Shadowrun fans, you'll be seeing that. If you saw the BattleTech Kickstarter that broke $1 million this week, we're associated with that a little bit.
Nice.
Very, very little bit. But we're developing the BattleTech support app. And I've got a couple of deck builders that are out there for Catalyst Game Labs, and it's a chance to see all the 13th Age fans for my role-playing game system with Rob Hainso and Jonathan Tweet, two other of our friends from Wizards of the Coast. And let's see. I think that's everything. We've got some stuff with Chaosium for Call of Cthulhu coming out.
Wow, you're a busy man. I thought I was busy.
Getting there. We're trying. Anyway, so a lot of people to see and a lot of stuff to show. I'm basically going to be demoing all week. I'll be seeing a lot of our friends. Mike Turian's going to be there showing off stuff for Wizards. I don't know if, let's see, who else was mentioned they'd be there. I'm not sure of who else. I know Mike said he was. Nate Heiss isn't. Anyway, so we have a pretty good set of folks who are going to be, in there and, showing different games. Actually, Andy Wolf's going to be there. He's apparently got a large announcement coming out as well. Andy, for, just so the listeners know, was an early pro, and honestly, so I've always worked more as a deck builder than as a player, and Andy and I teamed up, and I would design decks for him for a lot of the early pro tours, and back in that day, they would actually give me t-shirts as well. But this was back in the really early pro tours, let's call it 1995, 96.
I have never been to Gen Con and feel badly about it.
You should go. It is spectacular. 60,000 gamers, and I mean the hall is as far as the eye can see, and rows of any games. So, right now, probably my biggest game is the Dungeons and Dragons deck builder. And I can go and I can see 3 or 4 rows of people playing it.
That's so
Or my
great.
Shadowrun game, there's an entire room. Or 13th Age. So 13th Age is a D&D, it's a D20 RPG, and it's a smaller one. So we're in one of the extension hotels, but we have 2 or 3 rooms, so it's pretty awesome. Anyway, it looks like you're looking at the deck right now.
Yeah, I brought up a couple decks.
Importing it. And I guess I wanted to, jump to some magic related things as opposed to Gen Con. So the Grixis deck.
Yeah, do you want to start here? I was just working on getting stuff imported while we were talking, but we can
get the Grixis deck imported. So the metagame went exactly the way that we expected. It's at the higher levels, it's a ridiculous amount of scape shift decks. As we showed some scape shift last week, and with LSV playing it and basically doing well with it and defining the core build, scape shift is everywhere.
Yep. It was fun being ahead of that, right? Like
it was.
Yeah, it's like we were playing with it all week long, and then LSV pops up and goes and wins a GP with it. Not our build or whatever, but we were in that area.
We were within 6 cards of his build. And, it was pretty, it's a solid build. It's nice. It's clean. The problem is that the issue isn't actually scape shift. The issue is Baby Teferi is just so good.
Yeah. That card is so frustrating. Like, I think standard would be better without it, ? I certainly hate the thought erasure interaction, like taking cards out of your hand and during your draw step, and that
Well, that's what makes it so dominating in scape shift is you kill the opponent by giving your tokens effectively haste by playing it in their end step. So they don't get a chance to kill your tokens. Since you activate Baby Teferi and then you play your scape shift as an instant in the opponent's end phase, putting out a kajillion tokens and then swing on your turn.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to convince Bill Stark was the magic. Like, he was thinking of it in terms of, but like, you're just doing Teferi so they don't counterspell it, but I don't face counterspells. It's like, no, we're just like not facing any sorcery speeds. Board wipes is the big one there. So yes.
And being uncounterable is just a pleasant side effect, as is having a solution to everything.
Yeah.
So part of the reason I built this Grixis version was actually as a test to see whether or not whether you could pre-sideboard heavily enough to beat it.
Interesting.
And I was playing with things like Alpine Moon and Blood Sun. I mean, just these ridiculous land hosers that they put in red that no one played. Right. And so the Grixis deck isn't good enough just as a comment. It is good. It is fun to play, and this build with the duress is almost good enough. But honestly, not quite. If you want to see how ridiculous scape shift is, you can take out the duresses and the bedevils, put in a full set of blood suns, and you still lose over half the games to scape shift.
Scape shift just feels like it's so weird to play. Like, there are times when I'm playing scape shift and I look at my hand and I look at what my opponent is doing and I'm just like, oh, Oppo, can we just stop? Like, It's very cute that you're creating mana and spending it, but you're not doing anything relevant over there. You're going to be dead in 5 minutes. You know, just like you can just see the end of the game on turn 3 against some matchups. It's a very powerful deck. Why don't you talk? Let's see. I'm going to go take at least a couple minutes to refresh my beverage and hit the bathroom. Do you want this deck up to further discussion?
Yeah, well, hit this deck up for the discussion, then we'll jump over the other deck, which is actually better and is the deck I'd recommend for people who want to try and grind. And are they going to end the season in 4 days?
Yeah. If you're trying to get up to the end.
I believe the deck you want to grind with is the deck that we're going to show after this one. But in the meantime, leave this up, go take a break, and
I'll be right back. I've got Jay. Jay has the chat up so he can see it nice and easy. And if you want to do a little AMA with the current decks that Jay is showing, or just ask, Jay is one of the most influential deck builders in the history of Magic. That's not an understatement. That is just truth. So you have one of the most influential deck builders of all time. Ask him anything. I'll be right back.
So anyway, and feel free to chime in with questions, and I'm happy to talk about either game design, other games, Gen Con, or of course the deck in front of us, which is actually really solid and should be good enough to be competitive, but isn't. So, Guru, you want to grind your rank up this weekend. The next deck, which we'll be bringing up, is actually an evolution of the deck that I was showing last week for elementals. I basically pushed as aggro as possible mono red elementals, and that's the other deck I'm going to be showing. It plays like basically speed red, but it can beat the things in the format. So if I was making a standard deck, how would I organize the card choices? Honestly, I usually start with a concept, something, and Fazdog, your question, something that hits an idea. Something, I saw, for example, there's the combination between the 3 casting cost blue enchantment that you you exile a hand and then draw that many cards. There's a lot of ways that deck can be built for power even aggressively or non-aggressively. And I sort of start with that, and then I start building out combinations, and I generally do a lot of searching. Valhalla, to answer your question, Thief of Sanity is usually a lightning rod. The only reason it's in here is in the format right now. You've got a bunch of scape shift that only has effectively 3 pieces of removal plus Teferi. The bigger issue is the 0/3 can block it. And swim down, yes, I am using Cavalcade. You have to right now. You've got to have it for the speed. This is really hyper aggro elementals. There's the problem with mono red is it doesn't quite have the staying power, and so it's really a fine line. The reason mono red is sort of on the downswing right now is the defenses get up so quickly in all the decks, and then the red deck loses for staying power. So the red deck has a really narrow target window it can hit, but you've got to have Cavalcade just to be able to sneak kills in, and especially when you have the hasty elemental you can sneak in there, that makes it super cool as well. The 1/2 haste brings something out. I always think about the current metagame, Fanatic. You've got to, you've got to consider it. There's a little bit of a misnomer because of your question. So I have to take the idea in context of the meta. So it's sort of a both, which doesn't really help a lot. You've got to I mean, right now you can place the Thief of Sanity because, yes, you're right. It was a lightning rod and it was terrible, or not terrible. It was a good threat, but a lightning rod when there was a lot of, mono red. Now that mono red is pretty light, then you can play the Thief of Sanity. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So anyway, otherwise, I try and look at the deck and I try and look at the meta game, and I also consider how the sideboard's going to impact things as well, or at least used to. Right now, I'm playing primarily best of one because that's what the ranked play is for playing on Arena. So I don't have to take that into mind, which lets you kind of abuse things. You can play the metagame gambit, and some sideboard cards are actually good enough to sneak in. Especially, that's why I wasn't playing the Alpine 1-drop card, but I was playing the Blood Sun 3-drop card that turns off lands.
Hello, everybody. I is back.
Welcome back.
What do we got? Let me move this here.
Wow. I'm just going to call that Raptor because I'm not sure how to pronounce your name in TAD or Raptor.
Raptor's good.
Raptor works. So the way that I look at what's on I mean, of course, I'm watching what happens in the big tournaments on basically every couple of days. But generally, I've got a pretty good feel for my own playing to see what wins. I can usually tell what decks are better. Watching Control die was kind of weird, but it for some reason felt that way. And I felt it was going that way in part because people weren't quite able to, handle the threats that were out there. Also, the deck that's sort of, I think, sneak one that keeps coming in when Control gets too good is those heavy counter spell mono blue and blue greens.
All right.
So let's give it a whirl.
Yeah, don't have. Oh, we have everything we need. Awesome.
You do. You've got Control. You've got the ability to threaten with a Thief and a Nickel. Let's see what we get on the Oppo side.
Pizza wants to play best of 3 ranked. We could do that. I tend to do best of 1 when Jay's on, just so we get a lot of variety of opponent. In fact, I specifically looked at the sideboard here. I had 3 rares that are rotating in a few months that I had not crafted for the deck, and since they were in the sideboard, I didn't bother.
No. Well, the only reason that's a worry is this is a tutor deck.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right.
One of the things I really like to do in Best of One is I really like putting in a pair of Karns just to abuse Best of One so I can get an artifact tutor. Or, of course, if I'm black, I'm going to put in the forecasting cost black tutor.
Yeah. Well, if we want to, I think for managing...
What did you take out?
Good question. I think I took out... I wonder if they show the sideboard in this tool
they
here.
Don't.
Note.
Oh, the tool might.
Yeah, I'm just looking. It's showing the main deck, but I don't see anything to look at sideboard. We'll play this and then take a look. Make sure there's nothing you think is devastating to lose, and
the tutor strategy is just a little bitty extra edge.
Sure, and we don't have anything to rampage, so we're just going to play Grave Tapped.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah, this is pretty much
what we've got. Yeah,
pretty much obvious feather. I mean, you don't see any Boros deck in the competitive circles that isn't feather.
Make them sack.
Sack? You just want to get rid of that?
Right. So in this case, you just got to. There's too much that they can do. They play shocks, and that's going to lead to all sorts of bad news.
And of course, if we leave it, it's not like we're going to get feather with it or something. They're just going to sack this every time. All right, they're short on lands, it looks like. That makes Bolas actually less interesting because the discard, they probably have good discard options. We can 2-spell here, though. Let's Rampage, right? We have all the tools.
Absolutely, Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage and Butcher seems good. This is fun. I haven't played a Grixis control deck in a long time.
This is aggro control. You have to have aggro in there, or else you'll just get smoked by the pure counter decks or the Scape Shift decks.
Hard to call a deck with Dreadhorde Butcher control, right? But it has control elements.
In a world where, you know, Merfolk and the new 1/1 for 1 is a control card, you know.
You like Bolas? Just get the big boy going? Or Sanity?
Yeah, get Bolas out.
Yeah, we get Bolas going. We draw a land, we can double Sanity anyway. We might get a scoop here. They're stuck on 2. This could be pretty frustrating for Oppo.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about Night Veil Predator in a deck like this, or is the casting cost too restrictive? Looks like we do get our double Thief.
Let's see. Which one is Night Veil?
Black, blue, 3/3 hexproof Death Touch.
It doesn't do enough. Think about it in context of Scape Shift. That card will never do anything in time to be irrelevant. Thief of Sanity doesn't do a whole lot more, but it really, really scares them.
Nobody likes getting hit by a thief, right? It's just like,
yeah, it's such a bad feel. There's, you know, they play dumb around.
Expecting a shock on one of them here.
I was too.
But
otherwise, you may just kill them with damage. Yeah, no one does. It's there's actually a game design rule about a hair trigger. People hate the opponent touching their stuff.
Yeah.
In one of my lectures at the University of Washington on the subject, I actually go up and I walk up to everyone in the class and I pick up their pens and I rub them and then I hand them back to them. And it bothers people incredibly to have the instructor come up and just rub in your hand their pens and give them back. And that's the problem. And it illustrates really clearly why people hate having their stuff stolen. No one likes someone else touching their thing.
It's very true. Like, I remember one of the first cards, the kind of the card that set this this mechanic going was designed by Ken Nagel in New Phyrexia. And that was I forget what it was called, but it's like 1 black sorcery. I don't know if you search their whole library, but basically you find a card of your opponent's and put it face down and can cast it. And that's even the worst. Like, that's the worst feel. Like, not only are they found a good thing, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is. And they have my thing. Oh, it's really hard to deal with. And you're talking about touching stuff. Like, I play mostly digital, and when I play physical, I'm playing with friends. So I'm either like playing at Adam's house with friends or digitally. And when I went to the last GP and did side events, I unconsciously reached out and grabbed an opponent's card to pick it up and read it. And he was annoyed. He was like, "Don't touch my stuff without asking, please." You know, it was like, and I backed off. I was like, "You got it, my bad." Like, it was just out of habit of like even how to do the proper etiquette in the live tournament scene. So anyway, well, that worked.
It did. Do you want to give it another run? I mean, actually, look at the sideboard for a second before you do.
Sure. Yeah, let's make sure we understand what we're.
The sideboard's actually slightly interesting as well because it helps illustrate how this type of design works, and being able to set up a sideboard to abuse best of one is actually a pretty important tactic.
Let's see. Let's look at it this view.
Yeah, that helps.
Brian, you're saying MTGA tracker. That is cheating, literally. If MTGA tracker shows you what your opponent took out of your library, It's kind of cheating.
Oh, that is bad.
They should. I kind of actually want to. I'm going to make a note to contact Jay Parker about that. MTG, a tracker, etc., allowing players to know what was taken. Spelled poorly, but enough to remind me. All right, back to this. What did I take out? I took out. Maybe you can remember. I definitely took out a Alpine Moon.
You took out the cards against Scape Shift that were particularly relevant.
Okay,
so
we can do it. I don't care. Again, this is. I was just being a little bit budgety, but we don't need to.
Well, if you just put one in, just put the Alpine Moon. You don't need them all, but they are there for the tutor targets.
And then we had.
You took out the Blood Sun. Also, that was the other target. That one actually served a double duty. It also acted as 3 mana draw card.
And Silent Gravestone was the other one.
Silent Gravestone, which was an anti-graveyard. Not that I've seen a graveyard recursion deck in the last week since Scape Shift.
All right, let's leave this one out then, and we'll give these in case we...
Yeah, use the 1-drop or the uncommon.
Okay. What's that?
Put that in there. The one that you can tap to remove a card or sacrifice it to remove something.
Scrabbling?
Yeah, Scrabbling. Claws.
There we go. All right.
There you go. So it usually takes a little while to get the sideboard right. I do make sure that everything in a BO1 sideboard is something that I do actually fetch at least occasionally. I try and look and try and figure out, okay, when I have the chance to use it, what is the card I want here out of the entire game, and I make sure I have that for the future.
Well, game is easy when you get beautiful mana every time, although no shock lands, so these are entering tapped right now.
Right.
But maybe Temple will find us a basic that will bring these in untapped. We certainly can't mull this.
No, it's a...
Definitely aggro control. Interesting. All right, find us. Yeah, we're gonna find. We're hoping for a shock land or a basic swamp would be perfect. No such luck. Do we? Probably not. We probably just play something to be sure that we can cast a 2 next turn.
Yeah, you've got to put out something black.
So we'll put out the Catacomb. Let's see. Actually, we'll put out the Summit. There's more red than blue in our hand. There's no blue in our hand, or 1 blue in our hand. I don't think that matters too much, but a little edge to the red. This looks like Scape Shift, by the way.
It does.
Could be poor person's tempo, Simic tempo, Simic flash, but more likely Scape Shift. And we are again without, so we're going to play the Butcher here.
Drop a Butcher.
See if we can pressure him to death before we get a million zombies looking at us.
The nice thing is next turn we're going to play the Thought Erasure.
Yeah, Thought Erasure is a very good card against that, the Scape Shift matchup.
So play a Drowned Catacomb so that you can also drop out the Ebon Knight.
Yeah.
Or the other Ebon Knight. Oh, that wasn't what we wanted to see.
No. But it happens.
That's all right.
We are up against a dominant deck here. We'll see what we can do with it. There's one of the reasons. Although we do get to come back with another Butcher if we want. Butcher and
they'll probably bounce. Yep.
Draw us a land that comes into play untapped.
Okay, at least you can kill it.
Ooh, okay. We had we wanted to go Thought Erasure and Dreadhorde Butcher, but we do found the Duress, so we can go Duress and Butcher the Teferi. But let's start with Duress.
Family fun.
Probably need to... They don't have the land yet, but I guess if we get rid of this Time Raveler, and this one, we are done with Teferis, but this is kind of the scary card in the deck, right?
That really is the scary card.
But it's scariest when they have the field, which they don't have yet.
I would pull the route, and then I'd pull the Rejuvenator on the next card.
Oh, well, they're not going to... Oh, yeah, sure. Gotcha.
They're
yeah,
gonna
okay,
drop
we'll take...
Teferi.
Right. I was thinking we were looking at the top of their library for some reason. All right, we're going to go after Teferi.
And don't forget to drop out a land afterwards.
Yeah, and this time we'll do Temple and try and set up a top deck that we like. We want
That's not it.
5. Well, we would be able to play all 5 spells, but maybe that's not as relevant for us here.
I wouldn't.
All right.
This is going to be a tight fight. You need gas. Besides, don't you want to play one of those cards you just bought?
Right.
Get that Teferi off the table and then show them that there is a sideboard in these cards against them.
Longer. Stand by and watch. This might be a bad idea.
Well. Okay. All right, they got their field. They got their field.
Get the elf.
Let's... we still get Butcher after this. All right, we'll take a look.
Right.
Prison Realm. I don't know if we care about Prison Realm more than...
do.
Well, I mean, what does it get? It gets one of our... Gets one of these? Like, who
Takes your
cares?
sideboard card out, but they won't use it. So get the. You're right. Get the elf. Let them take out your Butcher. You don't need that card.
No, yeah, it's not going to be good if they get zombie hordes going. We're already up against it here and about to start facing zombies, even with dead Teferi. Yeah, Oppo is on Bant Scape Shift. Looks like the straight LSV list so far.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's how it was meant.
And they will probably drop out the prison, which is good for us.
Yep. But what's bad for us is that they don't even need Scape Shift at this point to start grinding out value on the tokens.
Sure, but we can beat that. The problem is we can't beat the top deck. But we do need a top deck to...
Can't even really attack with that. But
You can, it trades.
That's true. Do we want to, though?
I don't think it matters. Probably we want to, just to
All right,
make them think we're just weenies.
And if they only produce one more land next turn, we can Knight. Although they get at least 2 because they can Field of Ruin plus Arch. Field of Ruin plus Arch means we're going to be facing 2 zombies.
Mm-hmm.
At least. This is where their top decks are just nuts. Like, there's so many cards right now that the Scape Shift player can draw and just wreck us with.
Yes, there's no other way to say it.
And they're already even if they don't, like, even their lands aren't blank, so there's like no blank draws for them basically. Hey Nantuko, how you been? Saucy boy, hello. Oh yeah, this is where
That's not a blank.
this is just a minor broken thing they can do. This barely counts in terms of the top decks they can wreck us with. And it's still good.
And it's still good.
What is our outs from here, Jay? We have a Cry, right? There's a Cry in the sideboard.
So I would get, right now you've got enough mana. If you get the tutor, you could fetch the Blood Sun and turn off their lands.
Start there.
Turning off all their lands, and they basically are down. They're drawing for 4 outs. Never mind.
Well, we still have
You still have
outs to
you've got
the
2 draws.
cry,
You
right?
have like 2 outs at this point.
We draw our Masterminds acquisition. So yeah, we have 2 Masterminds acquisition that gets us out of this, so we'll try.
And that's right.
Or, yeah, and there's no sweeps main, right? We have to go
They're
side.
non-main.
Yeah,
You have
so
to go grab
literally 2 outer.
Yeah, and this is what happens even with the Blood Suns in the main. They still force it out.
They just race you.
It's
This seems
crazy.
wrong to me, though. Why not? They could be getting even more zombies. I guess it doesn't matter. Like, either we have a thing for all of their zombies or we lose, so maybe it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, they didn't play it optimally, but they've made a couple of mistakes so far.
Escape shift smooths over a lot of punts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one time just for the fun. Let's get our acquisition. Boom! Yeah! Called shot.
Wow.
I didn't even look at. I almost let the auto tap decide whether whether I punted this or not.
That would have been bad.
But we got there.
You did get there.
And sadly, we lose our knight, but nothing to be done about that. I could attack first, I suppose. It doesn't even matter. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So how does that dino work? Is any creature that enters deals 2 to itself? Is that what that does?
It's your own creatures.
Your own creatures. So what is the dino deck doing that made it so good against Scapeshift, whoever was mentioning that?
I assume it's just faster.
Guess we'll go with... It's weird. It's my I've been playing so much Scapeshift, I'm like, well, I gotta pick a land that's different. Just like, what have I got?
Oh.
Well, we got the one. I think we're out of outs now, right?
No, you could do it again.
Oh, we do have another one? All right.
Yeah.
Back to back. From a 2-outer to a 1-outer. We've got this. I mean, if we do draw the other Masterminds acquisition, then we're just in the Matrix, I think. Quitting Magic called. Hair Trigger has a 1 in 45 chance of never playing Magic again. Good luck, all in. It would be very sweet. Come on. One time, dealer. I know I just asked, but, you know.
Nope.
All right. No luck this time. Powerful deck,
luck.
the old Scapeshift deck.
So, if you want to swap over to the other deck, which is much more fun against Scapeshift, and actually one of the choices if you don't want to play Scapeshift and level, swap into the Elemental deck.
All right, you describe it while I get it set up on Stream Decker as the current.
So, this deck is, basically fast and has cool combos. It's basically plays a lot like your standard mono red control deck. It's using the firebrands, shocks, and lightning strikes to control the board. Of using Steamkin, but then of course light up the stage. It kills a little differently. It kills with Chandra, Cavalcade, and the various combos with Scorch Spitter. It has a pretty low end curve.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, do it. Have fun with it.
Whoa. All right, Paul, this one's for you. Paul Sly is, for those of you who don't know, the Jay's friend, longtime friend, and someone who jumped on board the Red Deck Wins train with Jay, using Jay's build, and then had tournament success with it, such that the deck that Jay built is widely known as Paul Sly's deck, which happens to deck builders. People, yeah, I mean, I named my deck LSV's Scapeshift, only to identify it as the one he was using. He net decked it, right? It's not LSV's Scapeshift.
Oh no, he's net decked it.
But that's just how decks get named. Whoever wins with them gets the glory. Do you like Spitter or Firebrand? Or Firebrand?
No.
Spitter first.
Spitter
Yeah.
first. Okay, this could be interesting.
Yeah, we gotta keep that horde down.
I drop the Firebrand now.
Yeah, we get a Firebrand in, we get a shock. If they do anything else, there's a lot of damage piling on.
The deck hits fast and hard. You have to. You're trying to raise Scapeshift that's going off on turn 4.
Shock it?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, we are working towards Frenzy, right? So
Yeah.
might as well
Even
empty the
though
hand.
it's
Yeah, and we're gonna strike before we untap again as well.
Mm-hmm.
We could strike face depending on what they do, and then Firebrand the new zombie token, and the Spitter still gets through. Let's see
I'm
what they do
guessing
here.
they're gonna do the Wrath here.
Yeah, the Army Wrath.
Yeah, Army Wrath.
No. They're
No, they
saying
don't have
no.
a mana for it?
No, they do.
They do.
They
okay.
could totally do it. They're just not. So I do like strike face here. All this land making the experimental frenzy play pretty easy, and I am gonna go ahead and do this.
Mm-hmm.
They're itching. Shock incoming. Wow, that's a hefty cost to pay.
I think they had to. I was wondering
Yeah.
if they were going to get killed by their own enchantment, their own invasion.
Yep. Right now it's helping us. And looks like we're drawing a Spitfire that will get stuck in hand, but hopefully we
That's
rattle
okay.
off some spells here.
I am one again.
Exiling from hand, not a big deal when you're operating under the frenzy.
Dreams are never ending.
We gotta send
That's
the
an
shock.
interesting question.
Yeah, it is.
I
think
think you go to the dome.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's see if we can dome them enough that the Dread Horde actually helps us kill them.
There's a nice touch. There's your land. Not what you wanted next, but that's
Not
okay.
what we want, but it will go to hand next, so it gets out of the way at least on some level.
And now they can live in fear. They might hold back the block. Oh no, they're gonna.
Nice play.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are at lifelink levels.
Stop your upkeep
Oh yeah, we
um,
got shock.
and shock it.
Well,
Shock it now.
we oh wait.
You have,
Oh, I had
have
to exile.
mana.
Yeah. I
But
had
after
to
you
exile first.
Shock the creature.
I totally missed. I forgot that they changed the top of our library.
I cannot exploit.
Brilliant. We got lucky. perfect thing to leave on top in that situation. They might scoop to that. I mean, that was their big comeback plan. But we're not showing a lot of pressure, so maybe they'll try and work it out here. You hate to spend 3 on this, but so it goes. And I'll put another upkeep stop since we have instant speed removal on top of our library and a frenzy out. We want to be able to cast it before we draw it. Doesn't really matter. I guess we'll go Spitfire.
Get rid of the Spitfire.
Conceivable. My intellect is without limit.
This is tight.
It is.
But I like our chances next turn here. We're going to go face, stage, and then have a bunch of action, we hope.
Well, face, and let's see what we get.
Yeah.
Don't forget you have to draw that card. You're going to draw the land now.
Yep, that's fine. Go to main.
That seems like a good card to play off the top.
Yeah, we do this and then light up. Ooh, there's a land too. Let's light up and then we can play the land from the light up. Sure.
Never waste mana.
I'm going to put a stop on upkeep right now, just in case they mill us again or something and it speeds through before I can do it. Because they do have that same play if they have the enter. Also, I'm kind of just ignoring Nicol Bolas, but let's see. Yeah, he can kill the creature.
I suffer for your cause.
I'm not sure how much that helped them.
Right. But obviously making us exile cards we couldn't play wasn't really helping them either.
Sure. Well, but they were threatening level 8.
Yeah, what does level 8 get them? Is it just kind
They
of win
win
the
the
game?
Minions.
Yeah, winning the game seems all right. Yeah, Awakener, let's see.
No, those are your light cards.
Yeah, I'm just looking at how we win next turn. If, like, what we can do with the Awakener, basically shock. Am I reading the card right? Remember choosing target elemental creature. Right, toughness less than. All right. Oh, who's raiding me? Mobius. Thank you for the host, Mobius. We'll go ahead and do that.
Schemes have been foiled. Witness a
Hope you had a good stream today, buddy.
power.
All of us fighting the Mythic Championship, but persevering.
I do see what you see, you're saying, Great God.
Hey, Jugger Hongo. I'm not sure where to download it exactly, but the game is Magic the Gathering Arena, and I'm sure if you Googled Magic the Gathering Arena download, you'd find it right away. Let's see. Draw.
So what folks are saying is your double Thunderkin Awakeners would also win the game. Oh, but you can top deck one like a champ
There we go.
and play it off the top. Yeah, there's the one on top of your library too.
Yep, we'll get that one too. Don't we want both?
Oh yeah. And you might as
And
well
that.
drop out that guy for good measure. Besides, you like seeing all the effects stack up, right?
Mm-hmm. We like seeing Oppo scoop. That's another. He's deviling that one. All right, we still got him under current. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, they're still. One of them would kill them.
Yeah,
Because
double
they'll
cav.
pull something out.
Nice. That's a fun. I like your twists on mono red. You know, you can just go with these stock lists or tweak them up just a little bit, and it gives you a new angle to approach the format that while still getting all the benefits of a mono red deck for grinding, which is of course speed of result. You know.
I think this one's actually better than the regular mono reds right now.
Yeah.
I don't know there's one that I like better right now. That may change. That's certainly based on the scape shift and incredibly heavy counterspell controls that are out there, but
All right. Looks fine.
it does. Actually looks pretty good. Not
Thanks,
pretty
Raptor.
good.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Steam vents. Could be Super Friends, could be Drake's.
I'm betting that
Grixis.
it's gonna be Oh, never mind.
Our favorite. Well, I think we let them have the shock if they want it.
They're gonna take the Cavalcade, I suspect, or the light.
I think they'll take the light. Most people take the light when they don't exactly know what's going on. I suppose it depends on what else is in their hand.
They could also take the Thunderkin Awakener, but
Yeah,
yep,
you're right.
Cavalcade. So they somewhat know what's going on. I'm not sure it helps them a whole lot, but it's
Is it possible to use the Incubation Druid Infinite Mana combo on Arena, or would you just time out? I'm not sure what the combo is, but if they don't support it, they should. It's not. I know that a big goal of the Arena team is authenticity, and authenticity means presenting a format accurately and with all the tools, etc. So you like Awakener or?
Oh yeah, swing with the Awakener.
Oh, I was thinking. I forgot they made us discard that. I was like, do we start with that? And it was like, nope, we start here because there's nothing else to do anyway. This is what makes Magic such a difficult game to program digitally. You can get 99.5% of the games done pretty solidly, looking good, everything's readable, all fitting on screen, but Magic produces these edge cases that are insane, that every other digital game that's come since designs out. Everybody else has designed the Magic nonsense out of their game so that they can contain it easily within the screen of a digital experience.
Drop Chandra.
Yeah, Magic has to do some other stuff.
Duels, in all fairness, we designed out we just didn't put in a card if we didn't like it.
Right, duels got to be what we called what you'll often hear in the industry as a walled garden. Beautiful, but not very flexible, not very broad. You just are inside the walls, and if you're happy with the garden, you're gonna love it. If you pine for what is beyond the walls, you're not gonna like it as much.
Just for a curiosity point, probably the hardest card to put into Magic is actually Lure. The reason for that is Lure sets up a possible case where it's computationally impossible to follow the rules of Magic. Because the rules of Magic say you have to actually block in the way that meets the most constraints. Because Lure requires blocking to happen, then the constraints get really, really complex and bad. It gets into what's called a satisfiability problem. And Rigel, neither of us work for Wizards anymore. We both did it in past lives.
Yeah, both did some stints in R&D. Let's see, we can make 2 and finish off with a shock. We can actually go 1 Narset, shock at Narset, 1 at face, light up the stage. But
That
Chandra's
seems like
about dead.
That seems like a lot of good.
Chandra's about dead, though.
Don't worry, I brought company. Interesting technique.
I guess we'll start with the light. In case there's a shock there we want to use instead. I'm going to go Spitter, shock from hand, and we'll save light for next turn.
Well,
You think?
Spitter from light, and yeah.
Yeah. Spitter, this shock is what I meant.
Right.
I didn't mean to point at that one. All right.
I still have much to learn.
Deck list. You can go deck and should get pointed right to it. I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? Something game designery, but now I forget.
Maybe I'm not cut out to be a
Better
Swing
wait on
first.
that. Swing first. Yep. I get hasty. Sometimes I remember. Okay, we're gonna go... Have to do it this way this time. I keep forgetting to give you memes, too. Sorry, all. Where is it, though? Hey. That bust? What's wrong, meme?
Something weird happened. There.
Huh. Don't know why the meme's not playing, folks. Sorry. Or if it is for you, it's not for me. Oh yeah, we definitely want to play this because it's from there anyway. We can go Frenzy, or just dump our hand and Frenzy next turn. I don't like that.
Sure, dump the hand, then Frenzy next turn.
Alright, we'll make it go away. I'll try and fix
Does-
that later. Don't know what happened there. I
Yeah.
wonder if it works from here. Let me try it here just to see. No. Something busted.
I think you need to shock them now, or it doesn't, or so it doesn't go away.
Yeah. To the extreme, I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up the stage, wax a chump like a candle. Dance. There you go. They know about the strike. We'll see what they get here.
surrender now. I understand.
Probably take out Narset, though. Experimental hopefully takes us to the distance after we do that.
Oh,
There's Big Bolas. Probably dead Spitter here, but so be it. Maybe they're going to wait and try and catch another Planeswalker. Yeah, that's what I expected. Let's just do this now. All
and
right.
show them that Nicol Bolas isn't the best planeswalker. Experimental Frenzy is.
Yes, and we even drew the perfect draw when you're going to play one Experimental Frenzy.
I will spare you.
Man, are my other memes broken? I'm going to try another meme just because now I'm curious.
Servitude.
Let's see. Let's try... we haven't seen Weird Science in a while. Let's try that one.
Well, we got the image. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that one worked. I don't know. Something wrong with...
Defiance is infuriate. Let your
something wrong with the old
minds crumble.
Vanilla Ice meme. I love Experimental Frenzy. It's just like drag off the top no matter what and see what happens. Let's see.
It's all gas.
I guess we could just go at Bolas and yeah, they're kind of done.
Yeah. Frenzy's just better than Bolus.
Rank up even.
I kind of want to send Eric a message. Dear Eric, please ban everything until Experimental Frenzy is good, then ban Experimental Frenzy.
I don't think he'll listen.
I don't think he will.
But
Well,
he would
I'm
chuckle.
sure he'll listen.
Yeah, he'll listen. I don't think he'll act. How about that?
That would be
He's
correct.
a very good listener. Hyper good listener. I had conversations with Eric in like 2011, and then in 2015 or 16, he'd say, you know, when you said, and then recite what I said. It's like, Eric, I don't remember what I said last week. You're asking me what I said in 2011. I believe you. I don't know though.
Eric, by the way, is the person in charge of balance for all of Magic and all of formats. He's the one who makes the banned lists. He's the one who basically makes final balancing decisions for Magic overall. He's he's usually on a set or two, but that's actually his primary role.
Yeah, he's basically the Mark Rosewater of final design. And Mark Rosewater is the Eric Lauer of initial design. Final design is kind of a Wizard specific term. They used to call it design and development, but it's a really bad terminology to use in an industry where developer means something very different than what it meant in Magic R&D. Do you like Spitter, Firebrand, or Awakener here?
Drop out the. Actually, I like Light Up the Stage.
Oh, sure, let's do that. Jay misspelled Lauer by one extra letter.
One extra R in there.
But Jay and I are both very fond of Eric, dear friend and colleague. And I screwed that up by playing the land first, of course, getting punished for that.
Drop out the other.
But yeah, we'll drop out the other Spitter. Eric is one of those guys who could be making a lot more money elsewhere if he wanted to be, but he loves Magic and is applying his brain to Magic instead, and we all benefit.
Now, he might listen on banning Teferi.
Mm-hmm. He might not need to listen.
Yeah, that's
let's see
likely
this.
the case.
Yeah, so we get... Let's just send Firebrand at Teferi. We go Steamkin, then Firebrand?
And then Steamkin, and then Fanatical Firebrand. And
yeah.
And hope that they don't have a good sweeper, although I guess it doesn't really matter too much.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Yeah,
Although
Eric's like a
land...
nuclear mathematician, you know, like he can be... Maybe the world would be a better place if Eric wasn't applying his brain to Magic, actually, but it's sure better for Magic.
This isn't a fight you can...
I disagree. Eric used to work for the Department of Energy, doing math for modeling nuclear weapons. So,
all right, maybe depends. It depends on nuclear. The nuclear standoff is an interesting piece we have in the world. You know,
it is
this shaky piece of the threat of nuclear destruction. Okay, what are we doing here? Another Steamkin.
I would drop out the fatty. That would be the Chandra.
The Spitfire. Sure. Okay.
You've got 3 mana. Drop your fatty. Also, remember, because it triggers off of the Spitter, which is kind of nice.
Yes, the Spitters and Spitfire are something else, especially also the Spitfire with the enchantment. What do we call it again? Cavalcade?
it gives you a whole lot of ways to threaten near lethal.
Well, they're not showing Wrath mana, Kaya's Wrath mana.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You know
Oh,
what?
no, they
I'm not
drew.
done yet.
Thought they might bury the Spitfire.
I thought they might.
Well, let's see. How do we want to work this? We have 3 total mana. We can kin and spit.
So you've got,
We
you can
can
get the
awaken and spit.
Spitfire to a 10. Oh, no, you can kill them. They're dead.
They're dead. All right, what's the dead
They're
play?
dead. Bolt them.
Bolt them.
Bolt them.
That sets off Spitfire a bit.
Sacrifice the firebrand to go to the dome.
Spitfire in action.
And then swing. And that's lethal.
All right, because the other spitter.
It triggers for
Sick.
the last spit.
It's our fatty, like you said.
It's a 10-3.
That's silly. I gotta relearn math to play this deck. I'm Should we?
Red
Hey,
deck.
let's live. Well, this doesn't matter. I guess this is pre. I do want to speak to this though, since it's constructed. This is their new guild battle thing. Pick your favorite guild event deck and battle with it. Battle it out with other guilds. So you end up picking your deck. You have to choose one of these. And for those of you approaching the Mastery Pass, if you're either using the Mastery Pass or thinking about getting it eventually, you're going to want to participate and win at least once, because your first win produces a full 1,000 XP. So they're going to do 5 of these, and each of them is going to have a 1,000 XP single win reward. So you get 5 full levels just by coming in and bashing for 1 win in these things. So if you are a Mastery Pass player, be sure to get your XP through these things. And we could, I mean, it's constructed. We could do this now too if we wanted to see what the format is like. But I'm also enamored with Jay's deck. Kind of want to play this one more at least, and then we can decide what we want to keep doing here.
I'm hoping you get a Scape Shift deck, because those ones are really fun. This was designed to give you a solid chance against them.
Fanatic Guru observed that it's a good place for new players. It's also a morally sound decision on WotC's part to not hide experience behind paid events. They didn't specifically announce whether they were going to do that or not, and I certainly hoped that they wouldn't, and so far they've shown that they're not, which is great. Oh yeah, we can't even play it now. It doesn't start till later, but thinking about it, that's what it's about. Never mind, we can't even play.
No, but we can at least look in, since it starts on Sunday, which is before you're back next.
That's cool. They're gonna have to shock this instead. Against mono red, all the Steamkin is a lightning rod, but it's a very good one. Yeah, Mike points out that the guild event is nice for finishing quests because if you need to finish a 750, you can pick that deck. If you need to not finish a 500, you can pick away from that deck, and you have all 10 pairs to work with. So we'll go Spitter here. Keep
Spitter
up strike.
here and hold your mana.
Chain Whirler is a nice one for them. We will go ahead and Lightning Strike it away.
You have to.
Then the next turn we'll probably Shock Face and Stage, depending on what we draw.
I would probably just stage. Just hard stage.
Hard Stage, all right. Yeah, I guess there's red. There's enough that we want to kill in red to do that. Oh, that's an awkward stage draw.
It is, but hopefully we'll draw a land that can drop experimental. Really what you wanted was your 4th land.
Yeah, at least we dug 2 towards that.
And if you don't get it, then you Cavalcade and Shock.
Might we want to do that anyway? Like,
Oh, look
here
at
it
that.
is. But we get
You've got to get experimental. Experimental is your best chance to victory here.
All right.
Yes, you're gonna take the damage, but this is where you have to hope for. I mean, you're red on red. It's going to be tough. If they drop an experimental, this is bad. Or even if they drop the 5th experimental, also known as Chandra. That,
Sorry.
however, is not necessarily what beats you.
Okay. Well, that's what we got. We play it.
Chandra first. Well, you got a land, which is good. It means you can pull a bolt out of the graveyard if you need to.
Control. Just let me burn.
Yeah, let's strike the whirler for our play here.
It looks like, by the way, they fixed the light up the stage through Chandra now. It had been broken. Now it works, but has a really messed up interface.
Oh, magic. Creator of awkward interfaces.
It brings it up at 3. You click on it at 3, then it gives you the 1-3 choice.
That is weird. But at least it's not broken.
Ugh, training is so hard.
Well, that's where it starts.
It is. Shock the 2-2.
And unfortunately, this is kind of where it ends. We have to sack the frenzy
You have to sack the
to
frenzy.
shock a pyromancer, but we're against mono red, so we're probably still dead anyway, but this gives us a chance.
Very small. This deck was not set up to win the mirror fight. You should be disadvantaged. They've got the chain wielder, which is bad against the rest of the metagame.
Well, not dead yet, as they say.
Not dead yet.
Needs some big help. Okay, not dead yet. I'm gonna go with Steamkin, Firebrand, Kill Pyromancer.
Seems good. Not going to be good enough.
It's
but
still not going to be good enough. They're at 19. The chances of us doing 19 damage before they find 1 off of a frenzy is almost nothing. We're probably dead like this turn. But stranger things have happened than like a land glut on top of the experimental frenzy deck or a bunch of creatures that don't actually do the 1, you know. If we win this game, it will be one of the less likely wins. And here we go. Already lost. So I was going to say, if we actually win this, it's going to be more amazing than you think. Like, it's just like we were still at like 5% or worse to win right there. Maybe probably worse, probably a couple percent.
Well, that is, probably your worst fight.
Yeah. I'm going to give it another shot, though. All right, I'm also managing a fantasy baseball draft while streaming and talking to Jay Anyway. I'm in a baseball league where we redraft a couple times mid-season.
Well, you have nearly a perfect hand, so...
Is there ever a land that Oppo would play that would cause you to want to grow the Steamkin over playing the Firebrand on 1?
I can't think of any.
Like, that it's all just so safe that you can totally do it, you know? I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably not worth it. If your Steamkin is that safe, it's going to do the work anyway.
maybe if I knew they were playing, if there was something that let them Can I use a Fallen Empire's land?
Sure.
The one that sacks for double red. And I thought they were playing Whirlers.
Sure. Go for, like, just wait. Yep.
Yeah, so that I wouldn't lose them both. I dropped the... Ooh, I think you dropped the Spitfire.
Yeah,
It's
then we
kinda
double spell
crazy,
next turn. All right.
Or experimental, but yeah. It's just the Spitfire is such a threat. I mean, next turn you're gonna drop the Steamkin and shoot for 7.
Let's slow
Well,
this.
you could, except they're gonna bounce it.
Don't worry, I got this.
Boo! Hey, look, it's Baby Teferi. What do you know? Doing work as usual. Well,
Oh, good. That was a good top deck.
Yeah, we can just get Baby Teferi off the board.
Mm-hmm. And even get a point of damage in.
Full of firebrands? Don't worry, I brought company.
I was thinking about how I don't use the spacebar to advance and why not. I'm usually all about keyboard shortcuts and making things faster. I used all sorts of keyboard shortcuts on Magic Online, but honestly, I think it is literal decades of playing Magic Online. Well, decade plus. It's not been around for literal decades, but I'm into my second decade of Magic Online play, and spacebar was not mappable to anything. And so on Magic Online, you just had to click, and I think just that many years of clicking my way through stuff has just trained me off of it before I even had a chance. I guess we're back to... Well, we could do Steamkin, make it bigger, but probably just Spitfire again here. You think?
You know, I would actually probably Steamkin make it bigger.
Steamkin go to face?
Steamkin and be ready to go to face.
Well, if we want to go to face, do we want to do it now? Like, why let him untap?
Because you want them to counter it.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, 3 points of damage is nice, but what's really nice is duressing out a counterspell. Or shooting a Narset.
Or shooting down Narset. Fair enough.
I cannot perceive beyond them. I have just the trick for this.
Seal away. Why can't we seal away? We'll make that meme if it ever comes back into standard.
Weren't you looking for Come Seal Away?
Well, we're already doing that one. I suppose I could. We could just do that here.
Such violence is upsetting.
There you go. And you were rewarded with Steamkin.
Steamkin into Steamkin
Steamkin
into Lightning Strike into Spitfire?
Well, swing first, but yeah.
Of course. But if we're doing that, yeah, it's well, they've got the seal away at the ready.
Oh, that's true.
So we can't really do it if we want to do it, unless we want to offer it.
Ohm is right. That
Let's just
swing.
let's not offer it. We put back a lot of counters here.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can offer it after we've done the Spitfire if we want, I suppose.
Yeah, I think put the Spitfire out and then you can offer it.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, now you can have it if you want.
They can get the bad one.
Kind of forced him to, and already got great value. Great God is accidentally screaming about how awesome 2 Steamkins and Frenzy is, but you're not wrong, Great God, you're not wrong.
I'd give it a caps lock.
Oh no!
Oh no, they're going to kill your creatures.
Well, it puts shields down. Hey, look, perfect draw for when you're going to cast a Frenzy anyway.
See if you can top deck the land.
No
Aw.
land.
Think they're going to put it down?
Let's slow
Yep.
this. You need to take a time out.
They're going to really hate this. Actually, you don't even do it to them. You probably killed Fairy and...
Yeah, we'll get back to this.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you later.
Not to brag, but I'm totally the best pyromancy student. Hey, these little guys are great.
You ever wonder how the baby Chandra is the best of the bunch? It was all downhill
Yeah.
after that.
I don't know, that 6-mana Chandra is something else. Can't be countered and starts a nice clock. Oh, did I screw up because they had removal?
No. They had removal, but
People think.
it was less than exciting.
Well, we know that Frenzy's on top.
Right.
So-
Because you do, play the land first.
Yeah. Or eventually, like...
Ooh, that's bad.
We need to move quickly.
We do need to move quickly, but looks like trouble.
That does look like real trouble.
Makes our top deck dead, and they've got a Teferi. Eh.
You show us.
Yeah.
In
it's
free-to-play
bad.
grind time, that's when you give this up. You got it, Oppo. We're not beating that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're at 1:30. Let's play one more time. Do you want to stick with this deck, go to the other deck, or go to a...
Well, these were the
Past
two that I
deck.
had. I had a limited time this week.
Right. Well, we can go revisit. We can try LSVs. We can do on the playing side of Scape Shift.
Sure, play a game on the LSV Scape Shift. It's good for folks to see it once before.
Yeah, I haven't made a Risen Reef standard deck. You had one that was cleverly not an elemental deck, but I would like to make the Risen Reef elemental deck. This isn't actually great, but it's keepable. We got 3 different lands and some ramping and a field.
You have enough ramp to make it go.
And we'll save that. Well, actually, no. This is the sure thing tap, so we'll play it. No, does not. This is this does do. This has a slight tweak that Louis suggested of the black-green temple is in here. Let's see. We'll go Grove. Again, doesn't really matter. We need an untapped land if we're gonna do Grow, which is not really what you want to be doing with your 3-mana ramp, but this is what you want to be doing with your 3-mana ramp. But we didn't get there. And Esper Hero, yeah, this is the only problem with Esper Hero. But frankly, we didn't have any of the key cards in hand right now, so a decent time to get erasured. But if the erasures miss with Esper Hero, you can usually get there. I'm not worried about the hero right now. We want to ramp. We're going to rejuvenate. And too bad we didn't draw a land, in fact. We can take a field, but we actually want... We'll keep that in the library for future scape shifts and just go with Memorial here. Draw an untapped land, we can grow kicked and immediately start getting dudes.
Yeah.
Or we can have a tapped land, we do root and still get the effect.
Exactly.
Interesting here. I guess we trade for this.
Of course. What else are you going to do with it?
Prevent 2. Chump. But it prevents... Alright, so we get it anyway. We get the tapped style. So let's see what's on top first. Blast Zone.
It doesn't matter. It's
yeah,
going away.
Doesn't matter. Going away. I'll put it down just to make sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's truly searching and shuffling. I was thinking it was the search the top, but we're searching the entire library, so it doesn't matter. Go for the tapped ones. They're all unique. I did click.
Do you have a white source?
I do now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, 1, 2 white sources. So it begins.
And it's all downhill from here.
Bellhaunt. I mean, what's the thing we care at least? It might even be just Prison Realm at this point. Like, I don't care about any of these things. I might care if they play a big Planeswalker that can do something, but I don't think this deck really does that. Maybe plays Teferi.
It does Teferis.
But I think we just want to make endless zombies.
You just want friends. So
and
drop out to...
These come into play untapped, so we're going to do Grow first, and then get 2 untapped basics and Root after that.
Yep, kick it. And that seems like a bunch more tokens.
Can I kick it? Yes, we can.
Yeah. This is just so unfair.
It's not really fair. You are correct. Actually, you can even just go... They don't need to be unique anymore. You just need at least 7. And if we do get Scape Shift, we want uniques in our deck to go get. We're making more zombies than you, Lily. Now, let's see. We have 6. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. We can crash in at Lily if we think that's important. We
the
may just
reason
want
not to crash in at Lily is Lily gets a card for each block.
Yeah, and I think I like the reload plan. We'll play this and Krasis, and then Krasis can attack Lily more successfully anyway.
Right, I would drop... you can get a Krasis for a Kajillion.
And let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 X. Should get that field. We didn't really have a choice, right? It was not it's not any land.
Get out of my way.
What to sacrifice? What to sacrifice?
They're doing it to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, of course. Let's see, if the Krasis survives, they might just scoop here. Like, if they didn't draw something to kill the Krasis, or bury it. Yeah, looks like they're going to put it back.
I know my responsibility.
But we don't have to worry about the ultimate anymore.
Yeah, the ultimate is quite far off. And we can Scape Shift and probably get them to give up here. I don't know. Are they running main deck sweeper? No, this is hero. Like, it hurts them to sweep.
Main deck hero doesn't usually run.
And 4 for the Scape Shift, 3 for the Rejuvenator, 3 for the Rejuvenator, 2. Like, we can do it all. If we get Baby Teferi, that's even better. Nothing. That's rare.
Whiff.
Whiffing on those. But even that doesn't matter. We still get to rejuvenate and just making sure we're not auto-tapped to oblivion. Nope, we're still good.
LSV's build feels like it's a land or two shy to me.
Right? I've felt that way too. Like, I'm not drawing it as much as I like, and I'm missing, maybe the... And now, what do we have left? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 unique lands plus 2 Field of Dead. This doesn't really matter right now. So there's 11 lands we care to get.
And you don't have to get all of them, just as a note. Oh, well, they'll scoop, and that works too.
That works too.
I often will make sure I've left a few lands in just in case of emergencies once I have 4 fields out.
Right. All right, there's the power of that deck. It is pretty nuts.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
And again, I think they did this, we mentioned this last week, but R&D is more willing to put potentially broken, scary-looking combos into a into a standard environment that is poised to rotate. So this deck, if it's as oppressive as it seems, is only a 3-month concern. So that's kind of why they take some risks, because it shows off how crazy Magic can be, right? As broken as that is, it's also very exciting. It's very, whoa, into the rabbit hole, we call it. You know, you want to show the new players how crazy the game can be, but you don't want to break standard. So they, you want to do this. That is the deck we were using before. If you want to see LSV's, if you want the LSV Scape Shift, I can provide that link as well. But you can just Google it. This is, well, actually, this list is a little bit different than the one that is in our shared, our shared decks. But yeah, I would say I'm not going to bother trying to link it. I mean, it's what LSV played in the GP, so minus a couple cards, so you can look it up. All right. Yeah, it's exciting, and then you get bored of it. Exactly, Hair Trigger, but that's why they make sure it's only around for a few months in case it's annoyingly oppressive. I'm going to check for fellow streamers to visit today. Let's go take a look. Thank you a lot for hanging out, Jay. Have a great week at Gen Con.
I will, and I won't be here next week since I will be working at my Gen Con booth, or at the Catalyst Gen Con booth.
Well, you know, Lord Tupperware rated us this morning. I guess we better rate him right back. Mobius did as well, but I don't see Mobius on anymore. So, yeah, let's go back to the Tupperware, shall we? Thank you so much for hanging out today. Thank you, Jay, for donating your time to our cause, and I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. We got a couple drafts that are lingering, and we'll finish up on Monday. But I had a good time today. Thanks all for hanging. Say hi to Lord Tupperware, and we will catch you next week. Take care.